So hello viewers. For any of the automation testing tool that we are using, there are three major parts. So first one is how to query an element. So that is basically how to find an element. The second thing is how to assert. So we want to find whether the element is in certain state or element contains certain values, something like that. And the third and last one is how to interact with elements. So all these things we are going to see for Cypress today. So we're going to have a brief overview that how to do all the three major stuff that we just talk about. So yeah, before we started with this video, I'll just want to mention that we had already covered the previous videos on Cypress introduction and stuff like that. So I'll have a link of those videos over here in the I button, or you can find all those videos in the description box. So do check out those videos if you want to have a great learning curve. So yeah, let's start the video without wasting much time. So let's talk about first how to query an element. So with Cypress, we had created previous files previously on our tutorials. So we are tracking this as part of Git repository, and if you want to have my GitHub repository link to take or to see the snapshot of learning of Cypress, I'll have a link over here in the description box. Do check out that GitHub profile, GitHub repository if you want. And yeah, I have created this files. So I have created this docs folder, which will have basically information for upcoming all the videos, all the things that we are going to cover. It will have an readme file, so that is basically the file that you can take if you want to learn and adapt to those chapters. And I have created this base file over here. This it blocks are empty that we are going to fill right now, and this first it block is created by me, and we are also using this before each hook. And in this hook, we are basically visiting the GitHub pages, one of the GitHub pages that I have posted on my GitHub profile. You can also use this URL if you want to perform the testing or learn the Cypress and perform the testing. And yeah, I have already attached the notes, that certain relevant notes for you. And I have also said that you can use this variable as part of environment variable if you want to set up for ease of use, and that will as the environment variables can be set in plenty of different ways with Cypress. So I thought to cover this as a separate video. So in this video we are just going to put this as static, that you can see over here in the before each block. I close this block because we don't need it right now, and we'll shift our focus to how to query an element. So as the Cypress follows the jQuery, and it literally uses the jQuery selector engine. So we can easily use this variable called Cypress.dollar if you want to use the jQuery selector engine. And there are lots of things with jQuery that we can easily do using this Cypress.dollar. But we have something called cy.get. So cy.get is basically nothing but a command, and there are lots of different commands such as cy.should, cy.end, and there are plenty of other commands that you can explore on the Cypress documentation. For this video, the cy.get is the command that will be used to get the element, to query the element. And inside this, basically we can pass the subject, and subject is nothing but the something that we can pass to the command. And over here the subject for the get command, cy.get command, is nothing but the selector. So selectors are can be described in different ways, as I have said or described over here. So the selectors are nothing but the certain attributes of the element that can easily describe or uniquely identify the elements on the DOM. Now as you can see, we have passed the selector called hash title of app. So the title of app is nothing but an ID, because that hash signifies the ID property. We can also use it like this, so element, and then in brackets we can specify the ID attributes, and in quotes we can pass the ID, which is title of app over here, and that literally you can see the example over here. So these are different ways of how we can pass the the selector of certain element. Now we have an option to chain all of the commands, or chain the Cypress command. So chaining is very helpful in Cypress. So in Cypress, basically all of these commands, sci.get, sci.should, or anything that we are using over here, those all Cypress command yield something values. And what I mean by is they return some values, and they accept certain subjects. And certain commands are like this one. So certain command like we'll see in in this, while we write the test cases for this it blocks, we'll see those commands are certain commands are like that, which requires the previous command subject, such as like we want to perform certain action like click. So those will have a different way of working, but every command yields certain value, and that decides which command can be changed after that. So let's say for this sci.get, it yields the DOM element, and so that DOM element, once we get that, it will return it to this function, this command, which is should. And as we can see, we are putting an element assertion, that is b.visible. So once we get this DOM element, it will verify that whether this DOM element is visible or not. After that, the end command, you can see we are getting the text, and we are asserting that it should have this text, which is called welcome to Arista lab requester. So this particular line of this particular line of code will query that whether we have an element with ID title of app. Then once we get the DOM element, we are verifying that it should be visible, and we will get the text from this element, and we will verify that whether the text is the same as this one that we have mentioned over here. So that is how easy to interpret all of this Cypress code. Now, one thing I told you that Cypress is similar to jQuery because it utilizes the jQuery selector engine. But now there is a little bit difference with jQuery and Cypress. So the main difference is jQuery is synchronous, while Cypress is asynchronous. So in jQuery, if we get this element, and let's say if we get this element with the ID of title of app, and if let's say we don't find this element, then jQuery will return an error. But over here, when we write this sci.get, the Cypress will try to get this element, and if it doesn't find it, it will retry it. So every command in Cypress have certain return mechanism, and every command has if it doesn't find the element, so that every command has certain timeout. So after that timeout, if it doesn't find the element, it will return an error. So those timeouts are mentioned on the Cypress docs. So you can see this section on the Cypress docs. This covers the core concept of Cypress, and you can see the default command timeout is 4 seconds. So all this you can set using the cypress.config.js file, and also you can use this for each command you can manually set the timeout. So those are the things that you must remember. Now I think enough theory we had. Now let's just open the Cypress using an npx cypress open command. So this will open this launchpad. We can choose the E2E, we can choose the browser, and it will open the test runner. Now we can open this first lesson. We can run this spec file. So what it does is, first it will go to so first test case is passed, and all of these other test cases we are yet to describe, but we don't have any body, so it will be by default pass. So before each, as you can see, we are going on this particular GitHub page that we have deployed, and after that, as you can see, it got this title of app, then it asserted the visibility, then it has got the text, and it has verified that whether we have the text or not. Then it has got this version text, it has made an assertion that it is visible, then it has verified that it is version 4.1.1, it has verified this node tool. So let me just open this command, the code for you. So first we are verifying the title, then we are verifying the version, then each of this tool that you see over here, these are buttons, and each of this button, if we inspect on this, so let me click on inspect again. So each of this button, as you can see over here, okay, let me just do this. So as you can see, each button over here, it has certain titles. So node tool, then a connection tool, output tool. So all of these buttons, we are asserting that it should be visible, and at the end we will verify that we have this information text says select some tool to get started, click on question mark icon for help. So that text we are verifying over here. And as you can see, this is as simple as possible. By looking by just the first glance of this code, you will get an idea that what is happening inside this it block. So now what we can do is we'll close, or we will collapse this it block. Now we will write the test cases for these it blocks. Now for this first lesson, what we are going to do is we are going to verify that whether this node tool is working fine, whether this connection tool is working fine, and at last we are going to see that whether this user manual button, this question mark button, is working fine. And when I mean by those are working fine, so what I meant by those things are working fine, so when we press on this node tool, you will see that the selected text will change and it will say that selected node tool. Now if we click on this connection tool, the text will again get changed, and if we click on this user manual, it will redirect to the GitHub URL. So those things we will verify using the Cypress. So let's do that. So for the first thing, where we want to verify the node tool is working, whether the node tool is working fine or not, first we can describe the steps that, let's say we have wrote the test cases in some sheet, in some test case sheet, so we can just take those steps from over here. But these are the steps that you can add as a comment. So let's say for the first step, we want to go to home page. So that is already taken care of in FORE before each hook. Now we don't need to write another Cypress code for this. Now step 2 is click on node tool. So as we know that this button has a title which is called node tool. As you can see, when I hover on this, it shows the node tool. Now what I can do is I can write site.get, and inside this subject I can pass in selector, and selector is something like let's say button with title attribute value of node tool. So that is this button that we have over here. We want to get this button. Now we want to verify that it should be dot visible. So we are asserting that this button should be in visible state. Now after that we want to click on this. So after that we can change this click button, this click command. And remember, as I told you earlier, this click command is such the command that requires the subject of previous command. So this site.get will get an element from the DOM, and it will yield the DOM element that it has got. Now it will pass that DOM to this should command. It will also it will also take this DOM element. Now should requires us to provide a subject, and subject is b.visible. So that is nothing but the assertion that we want to make on this yielded DOM element from this site.get. Now once we get that assertion passed, we will pass that element to this click, and click will require an subject from the previous. So as we finish this assertion, the click will get a DOM element, and it will perform the click action on this button, right? Now the step 2 is completed. Now we want to verify that whether we have the information text change. So as you can see, as I press on this click node tool, it has said that selected node tool, and there is some other text. Now earlier we have verified it like this. So we got this label text, and we verified the exact text that we want to see on this label. But now over here we will use something called accept or the assertion using the dot then chainable object. So now let's learn that how we can do that. So to do that, what we need to do is first we get this label text. So label info, so that is the label info over here, or you can also inspect this element and see the certain selector that is able to uniquely identify this element. Over here we have something called id label info, so that is enough for us. Now we can get this label info and we can assert that it should be dot visible. Now instead of writing this and have text, what we can do is we can invoke the text. So that is basically we will get the text from this element once we verify that that is visible. After that we can change this dot then, and we can pass this verification function over here. Now we can also label the subject that we are getting from this command. So let's say we label it as let's say label text. So that means whatever we get value that we get by invoking text from this element, that will be aliased as an label text. Now we want to write an assertion, so expect. So we are expecting label dot text, let's say write trim dot to match, and we can provide the regex over here. So let's say selected a node tool, right? Selected node tool. So that will verify that whether this node tool is working fine or not. And as you can see, once we hit the save button, all the test cases are passed. So as you can see over here, it got this button, then it clicks on it, and you can see if we pin this, we can also see that what was the before click and what was the scene after the click. As you can see, this text got changed. Before it was something else, right? After that we are getting this label, then we are expecting it to be visible, we are invoking the text, and we are asserting the value. So that is the second test case. Now let us write the third test case. So we just need to do the same for this test case. So over here we are already taking care of visiting the home page in before each block. Now for the second test case, what we will do is will require button with the title. So over here, if you hover on this tool, it says connection tool. So that is the exact thing that you want to put over here. Now we can write an assertion that verifies this button should be visible, and after that we can perform an click action. So that is the second step, that we want to click on the connection tool. Now we will follow this stream structure. So we can copy this piece of code over here, and after that, if you see, once we click on this connection tool, it says selected connection tool. So over here, as we have wrote selected node tool, we can just change selected connection tool. We can save this, and as you can see, the test will run again, and third, as this is passed. So we can also pin this click, and we can see that before we clicked on this connection tool, the text was like this, and after, the text is like this. So that is very easy, and that is very easy for us to code. Now let's write the last test case. So for over here also, for the first step, go to home page. So that is already taken care of. Now for the second step, we will use the same structure. We'll get the button with the title. So what is the title? We can hover on this button and it says user manual. So we will write user manual over here, and we will assert that it should be visible, and we will click. Not clear, we will click. So steps 2 of this test case is completed. We'll click on this user manual button. Now once we click on this, as you can see, we are not on the same page. So the URL got changed. So we can copy this URL, and over here site.url is a method to get the URL, and over here we can assert the URL. So we can assert that whether the URL should include this arista lab requester /issues or not issues the lab requester. So there we will redirect it to this URL. So yeah, that is the last test case. Now let's test this. So as you can see, it says the button user manual to be visible, but it's not. So let me just verify this title. Okay, so the title is, as you can see, user manual, but we haven't write the title correctly, so it fails the assertion that the button should be visible. So that is expected to happen. And if you see over here, it says timed out after retrying, and it says 400 millisecond was the time till it waits for the test to be failed. Now we can verify, or we can change this using this option parameter or the option value over here. So we can, with the get command, we can also pass this timeout, and let's say 5000. We know that this is not there, so just we want to check that whether it waits for 5 seconds before it timeouts. So just we need to check that. So let's just save this, and as you can see, it is trying to see that whether the user manual is there, and as you can see, it waited for 5 seconds. So that is the way how we can manually manipulate the timeout. Now we will remove this manual, and we will save this. So as you can see, it verifies that we are currently on this page, and we successfully passed all of the test cases. So all 4 of the test cases are very easy to debug and very easy to write in the test cases. I hope you have got the idea about how we can query the elements, how we can assert the elements, and how to interact with element. So yeah, that's the basic overview of 3 major operations of any automation tools that you must be aware with. And in upcoming videos, we'll explore more on the Cypress. So do subscribe to our channel if you are new to this video. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. We have covered the 3 major stuff that you want to be equipped with Cypress, and do consider watching this Cypress docs if you want to explore more. And yeah, we'll meet in the next video. Till then, keep learning and keep exploring.